Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Breakdown HeavyFoes Electrumite.
Chapter 1.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about Electrumite. I think we've been talking about it recently. I think with the current support that has come out in sets recently, especially in Blazing Dominion, which is coming out May the 8th. So yeah, and so let's talk about it and just discuss why I don't think it will come back. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
Okay, so let's talk about HeavyFoes Electrumite, right? So this is a card that I don't think really can come back to the TCG because the person in R&D a few years ago on live stream said that they really don't like, especially in TCG, they really don't like HeavyFoes Electrumite, as there's no variation and there's no nuance in the decks that are made in the TCG. And this is something very important that we get to realize about the TCG and how they handle cards and ban lists. Basically, what this person was saying is that, for example, when we look at this format, what TCG agree with is variation. So for example, Yami Mitsurugi or Yami Azamina and all these other Yami slop decks, with different variations of Yami, that is not a problem. Or K9, for example, K9 Vanquishal K9, Crystron K9, again, that's not a problem. Branded Draco Tail, that's not a problem. What is a problem, they argue, is that when you see the exact same deck, like with pendulums, they argue, especially with Electromite, you only see Electromite decks. You don't see any variation. So you'll get Pendulum Magicians, but you won't get, for example, we won't get Pend K9 or Pend Draco Tail or Pend Zephyra. There'll always only be Pend Magician, or there'll always only be Electromite and Friends deck. There'll be no variation at all to how Pendulum is played in the TCG. And that is part of the problem, and that is part of why I think Electromite won't come back, because there is, as you know, TCG, they love variation. We love variation in our decks. We like seeing nuance, and creativity is never punished. What is punished is stagnation. What is punished is lack of creativity and lack of nuance in deck building. So yeah. So what I want to say really is that when it comes to HeavyFoes Electrumite, I don't really think that this is a monster that is going to come back in the TCG anytime soon. I don't think it'll come back at all, as it doesn't offer anything to the table. Deck building in the TCG would just remain the same for pendulums, and it would bring nothing new to deck building. That's essentially it. Let's head on to the conclusion.
Final chapter.
So here I am at the conclusion, and all I'd like to say is that when it comes to HeavyFoes Electrumite, what I'm going to end on in this video is that I don't feel that this card will come back. With what I've talked about with HeavyFoes Electrumite and how the card is viewed, how the mindset of the TCG and the R&D people, how they view uh, cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, how what the mindset of creativity and how cards and a card that does not bring creativity to the game and brings stagnation, has no nuance, has nothing, doesn't bring anything great to the table, is one of the biggest reasons why I don't think we will see HeavyFoes Electrumite ever come back in the TCG. Well, as long as that person in R&D is still in R&D in TCG. As he said in a live stream, as long as I'm here, Electrumite is never coming off the ban list. And I think that answers the question to that. And with that being said, tune in next time as we'll talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.